Hi, Peg. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's chilly. It's not so warm here. Yeah, first one. Hi, Jean. Oh, I think it's cool everywhere. I think its rule should be that when the page turns to spring, that's it. It's like doesn't get below like 50 degrees. New rule. Give everybody a second to come in. So this is so exciting because unfortunately, we had so much rain yesterday again and wind. And so a lot of the blossoms are blown off of the trees, but it's still pretty. So we're in Palais Royale, of course, and then we're going to walk over towards the Tuileries, finding some blossoms along the way. My allergies are next level right now, so I'm okay for a second, and then I start coughing or sneezing. Hey, Patricia. Is it warm in LA at least? Or is that LA or Louisiana? Look at these. You gotta see these daffodils. We'll start over here and wait a minute or so. The hyacinths. Tulip or two. How pretty are those white flowers? Oh, well, we're glad we have one place that's warm. But look, you got the sunshine coming. 34 in Knoxville. Today was like 38 this morning, I think. But at least it's sunny. We did have rain just as I was getting home from a tour this morning. And I forgot my umbrella, so let's hope we don't have any today. But here we are, Palais Royale. Look at these magnolia trees. You can see how they're just blown to pieces everywhere. But look at all the sweet little flowers. And it's so funny how some of the trees, the earlier, about a week ago, the only magnolia trees that had any buds on them all were the last ones, straight down. Hi, Sharon. But it is so funny how they all are different. So, like these trees here, a lot of these ones have little leaves on it. Hey, Angela. But then when you look at the same exact trees on the other side, I'm sure it's because of the light. I'm sure they're not, maybe they don't get the light because this is facing south right now. But it is always interesting how some trees just don't bloom at the same time. Oh, look at all these. I wish you could go in here. And then they have these little insect houses here. So cute. Keep the insects in there, please. But they're so cute because you'll see these, like in the Luxembourg, they have a huge one of these little bugs. Love to stay in there. But I love those little white flowers. Are those kind of, they're almost like daffodils. Sorry, guys. I think I feel a sneeze working its way. My allergies yesterday were so bad, horrible. And I was inside all day long, never left, because I had to research and prepare to record 3 podcast episodes. And then we only ended up doing one. And I was trying not to cough, so it's probably the shortest episode I've done. I think it's 18 minutes because I was just trying to get through it without completely crashing and coughing to death. But we are going to walk, stay over here. But it's funny because it's not super warm, but it's not horrible. It's not freezing. But it is funny because Parisians love their big coats. They love to put them on, and it's hard to get them to take them off. Oh, here's one of my biggest pet peeves in the world. See how our coat's bunching up? Because there's one of those little, at the bottom of it, they do that little tacked with like just thread because you're supposed to cut it out because it's like the kick plate. And I would literally, if I could, I'd walk down the street with a pair of scissors and just stop people in the street and fix that. It drives me crazy. It drives me nuts. I think that's not old. I think that's hangover from my retail days. But my friend Brandy does the same thing. She drives her crazy. But it's like, come on. It doesn't hang right. It looks weird. Oh, oops. But look at these. So here's the little cannon. I think I showed you guys this before. Can you see that in there? So here's the little cannon. It used to go off every day at noon. And obviously that stopped in 1990. But they do it a couple times a year. One of the days they do it is Petramon weekend, so that's Saturday and Sunday. But it used to have a magnifying glass, and it had a horsehair in there. And so as the I know, Sharon, right? I mean, come on, with this, I really need to start an action committee about this. But it would, when the sun would hit it at noon, it would burn and then fire the cannon. These tulips in here. Here we go. Oh, look, we could even look at these pretty purple and white tulips. Those are beautiful. Have you guys seen them like that before? And then there are those really pointy ones. I love tulips. I think that's maybe because I have probably about 40 tulips in my apartment because my grocery store has them, and they're you could get like 8 of them for like $2.99. And so I have a bunch, and I think maybe that's why it was so bad yesterday. But I don't want to give them up. But see how pretty? So it's really busy. It's really busy here today because it is getting close. It is spring break. But just walking over here, I walked through the Louvre, and it's 3:45, and the line was what it looks like at 9 in the morning. Crazy. There's been all sorts of news coming out slowly every week about what we have to prepare for the Olympics. I think that the days, the months leading up to the Olympics are I think are going to be far worse than the Olympics itself. Everybody's freaking out. But the Olympics, the the activities, the competitions aren't they're not as they're not as much in Paris proper. So, but they're going to be closing down the K. So this is a big one. There will be no sitting on the Seine with your bottle of rosé watching the sunset this summer because they are closing that beginning of June. Lots of the bridges, they'll be slowly rolling the closure of bridges. So June 1st, about 3 bridges close. And then mid-June, a few more. So it's going to be a little nutty. But I think the Olympics itself will be easier and shorter. But some things like the Pont Alexander Trois, it's going to take till October for it to fully reopen to cars. So I think if you lived in the 7th or in the 16th, I think you definitely would want to leave because that's going to be crazy town. So we're going to walk over towards the Tuileries. And you can see how many people are here. It literally was like all of a sudden this week. Here is one of my favorite, oops, stop, ergo markers. So if you watch Da Vinci Code, a lot of the ergo markers in Da Vinci Code were movie magic. But that one, he does actually run right by. And see, look, you know it's spring. when New Moors is, but they don't have the extra row of seats yet. There's some dancers today. Want to see some dancers? Excuse me. How cute are they? So cute. And the amazing Metro by Jean Michel Otignel, who did this for the year 2000. And so those are Murano glass beads. And the blue is for the night, and the red is for the day. And so it's a little nod to the naughty path of the Palais Royal, but it's really gorgeous, especially if you catch it. But look at the little figurines at the top, especially if you catch it with the sun coming and hitting it in the morning or in the late afternoon. It's really pretty. All right, we are going to brave through this. This is usually not one of the greatest parts to try to get down, but I also want to show you, and hopefully the signal's okay. I want to show you the completely restored side here, the Palais de Louvre. So you call this side the Palais de Louvre, where the Musée des Arts Décoratifs is. And they've been cleaning and restoring that. Can't tell if we get to walk yet. This is just so you know, this is one of the worst parts to come through because where the tour buses all come off the opera. They park down there. And so if you're trying to walk through here, you're trying to push through, groups of like 90 people. And so either get those elbows out and push or go the other way. So here, get across the street. Hopefully, let's see how the signal is. But they just redid all of this and opened it up a few months ago. But you can see how gorgeous and clean this side is. And so this is the carousel entrance. So the carousel entrance is where the little food court and little shopping mall and stuff is underneath. If you're in Paris and you need to order something like from Amazon, you're staying in the Airbnb, they have lockers here, so you could do something where you could send it here and come pick it up. But this part here was all done by Napoleon Bonaparte. He didn't do a whole lot on the Louvre, but he did do this side. So these are figurines, are all generals of his. Oh no, you're 100% right. Also, that place isn't. That place on the corner is oh, cancel. Okay, it's trying to connect to the Louvre Wi-Fi. So hopefully you guys are back. Um, no, you definitely don't want to sit. Also, that one is tied to Cafe Marley. Cafe Marley, synonymous with scamming people when it comes to the tipping. They try to tell you that the tip's not included and that you needed to leave them if that is, These are, I mean, it's pretty stunning how good this all looks now. Look at how good. They've also um, started to take off the pieces of the scaffolding that are covering the Arc de Triomphe de Carousel, and they've been dropping they've restored the horses and the statues from the top, and they've been dropping those back on. It's starting to take the covering of the scaffolding down, so that should hopefully be finished soon. And I wish today is Sunday, Or I wish I could show you because you could actually look in there and watch the guys restoring the statues, which is really, really cool. So here you have the Musée des Arts Decoratifs, which is an amazing museum that not a lot of people go to. It's a really, really cool one. They do a lot of fashion exhibits, um, partially because the fashion brands pay them for that. So it's kind of somehow turning into a bit more of a fashion museum, but permanent collection is really cool. I'm not gone to see, they have an exhibit in there about clothing and sports. All the museums, including the Louvre, are going to have exhibits about art and sports or whatever their museum's about. It's a little odd. But the Louvre one will be more about like the Greek vases and Etruscan vases. And there's a lot of sculptures, of like the marathon runner and some of that. So that's going to be kind of cool. The one at the Luxembourg is more about like actual, like they have sports bras and bicycle seats. I'm like, yeah, I think I could skip that one. But this part here, this side here is gorgeous. And they just restored all of this a while ago. So you can see, look at, don't say that, I might end up tripping. I actually, what's funny? I trip all the time when I'm not carrying this thing. All the time. I do that thing where I hit my toe all of the time. Like at least daily. Okay, let's go this way. Hopefully. But you can see my girl over there, Jeanne d'Arc. She's a beaut. Look at her. I love her. And the funny thing is that her sister copy of her is in Portland, Oregon, where I'm from. Oh, you know what? I could talk to them about making me some that have angel wings on my sneakers. I think that would be amazing. I'll talk to them about that. They do have custom shoes. So we played with it one day when I was there with my girl, Angelique. And I was like, look alive, guys. It's a fireman. Um, so we played with it. And I was like, can I have a shoe and we can make it so it's blue, white, and red? So it could be blue, blanc, rouge. She's like, yeah. So we did. And we even it has a big bow on it. It was amazing. A custom pair of Louboutins surprisingly aren't as bad as you think, but they are still well over $1,000. But I was actually surprised that a custom pair weren't more like, two or three. So here they've been redoing all of this. Oh, we're kind of far and the signal's really bad over there, but I'll try to take some pictures of it. Yes, the dogs are allowed and you can sit up here too, surprisingly. So you could go sit here. And this is the Pavillon Massin. And look up there, speaking of wings, Cheryl, look at those wings, Sharon, up there. So this was all restored a few years ago. Gosh, I can't even remember how long ago. But you could just see the difference. And that far side down there, where the roof is a little bit lower on the left, that was just finally uncovered recently and restored. That gal's eating potato chips that are called grilled bacon. The potato chip flavors here, sometimes if you go to one of the bigger Monoprix or Carrefour, go look at the potato chip section. It's sometimes pretty interesting. It is. So this week, Tuesday, is the start of the Impressionist exhibit at the Orsay, straight across there, for the 150th anniversary. So that's going to be amazing. I'm going to go Tuesday morning. Cross your fingers; they actually open on time because they seem to, on those days, have a mini strike every time it's the opening of an exhibit. So we kind of see here. Then we'll go into the garden. I was hoping the purple trees are popped out. Looks like a little bit. Oh, we can see if they have see if they did the planting yet for the, oh, look at this puppy. Okay, so here you can see, look at the top. Oh, he's just having a good old time. Okay, look. Can you see it? Look. So those have all been restored. I put back up there. So they started covering the scaffolding, I think about a week and a half ago. So that means it should be done pretty soon. Those the horses on the top, the original ones that were there, were stolen by Napoleon. He stole them from Venice, from St. Mark's. Venice had stolen from Constantinople before that. So, and in 1815, they returned to Venice, but before that, they made copies. So they're copies, but the figure and the chariot are French editions. Yeah, I sometimes meet people there um, when I do tours of the first and second, and it's always really difficult to explain to them where to meet me um, because it's under construction. So let's head into here. Then we walk down to the Place de la Concorde, see what's going on. Because all of that's changing quickly too. They're going to actually close that off to traffic here in the next. Gotta love this garden. So I know I've told you all before, if you're new here, the Palais de Tuileries stretch right across. So from the Pavillon Marsan, the Pavillon de Flore, right there. So if you connected these two buildings together, that was the Tuileries. That building itself, that technically was the Tuileries. A lot of times, everybody says there's nothing left of the Tuileries, but it's not exactly true because those buildings were the Tuileries. And so, first part, they had created the Grand Gallery to link up to the two. Then it was Napoleon Bonaparte that added that part that we just were on the other side of. And they kind of went to almost where the cars come in, and that's where it stopped. And that part straight past that sticks out, the Richelieu, and that is what Napoleon III did. But the Tuileries, so the Jardin des Tuileries, when this was built by um, the Snake Queen, the Serpent Queen, Catherine de Medici, when she had this built, she, oh, guys, I'll tell you in a second. But this was a private garden just for, Catherine and her close friends. And then it was actually Napoleon that opened it up to the public. Okay, this is really exciting because I have not seen these yet. So this is what they do twice a year, and they add these in, and so they redo the gardens. And so this is a little sparse, but look at all this pretty colors. So what they do, and a lot of this stuff in the garden is sponsored by Christian Dior because, well, they use this garden for all their fashion shows. So they give a bunch of money. And so this right now, they do this in the fall and in the spring. And they do something with the garden that matches something in the Louvre because the Louvre actually owns and oversees the Tuileries. And so this is a brand new tiny exhibit that opened. And I went and saw it the other day, and I need to share some pictures from it because it was fantastic. Excuse me. So this painting right here, what is happening here? This painting, it's not liking this at all. Let me just stay back here and go in. So this painting by Jean Van Eyck, the Virgin and the Chancellor Roland was just restored, and they had that in the collection since 1800, and it's never been fully restored, and it just was restored, and they did a tiny exhibit that's in the Pavillon d'Horloge on the first floor, centered around this painting, and you can get actually really close to it. And the cool thing is you turn around and look at the back of it because Van Eyck painted the back of it as well, and the back of it looks like marble. and it's on oak. It's on a panel of wood, but it is really, really cool. And so some people call this the Van Eyck Mona Lisa because it's a pretty famous painting. And so the Chancellor Roland, this is when, and you see this in a lot of paintings, especially in the Salle d'Etat, which is where the Mona Lisa is, and in the Grand Gallery, because you would have these wealthy individuals that would spot to commission a painting that would then be given to a church. And so a lot of times the painter, like Veronese, would put the person that paid for it into the painting as like St. George or John the Baptist or something. So this is Chancellor Roland. He ended up paying for this painting, and so, but it's really fantastic. And I'll have to post some pictures of it and put it on my website so you can really see, because it's all sorts of little clues in it. And this isn't a very good one, but like the restoration on it, and you can't really see, but her crown is like the most amazing, tiny, filigree. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So what they do though here is they plant the garden with flowers and colors inspired by the painting. So it's really cool. Like you see that blue, and then you've got the kind of purplish and blue colors in there, and the tulip, red georgette. I want those. Violas. Well, let's go see what other ones. Narcissus, the double narcissus is called Sir Winston Churchill. How about that? So let's go see what other ones. Because usually there's a couple plaques, and they should be different paintings. Or sometimes there's sculptures. That's the one that when they had the Greece exhibit a few years ago. That was really a stretch because they had a picture. Let's see what this one is. They had a picture of this face. It was a statue. It was just the face of a statue. And I was like, okay, it's kind of just one color. It's kind of just the color of stone. Let's see. I think this was the same. This one looks the same. Yep. But yeah, ooh, look at those different flowers there. Look at those huge tulips. Look at those. Look at those ones. Isn't that pretty? Over here on this far side in the garden, the very, very far side there where you see towards the wall, that's where they have um, bees. And they had a plaque there for a long time of Jacques-Louis David's Sacre de Napoleon because of the bees on his coronation robe. So cool. Yeah, there's usually one over this other corner. But hopefully there's other paintings in that exhibit. Because what's really cool about it is it's not only that painting, because it's all about that painting, but it's also paintings that inspired Van Eyck, and then paintings that Van Eyck inspired and artists. And so it's really, really amazing. And so I love to come down here, and I got to see that with you. Okay, let's see. Sometimes they have goats over here cleaning up the lawn. I have a feeling that all these signs might be the same, but let's see. So have I ever showed you guys the no De Gaulle walking in the garden signs? Okay, so here they are. And if you've ever seen, if you're sitting at home on your computer, look up the De Gaulle on the Champs-Élysées and tell me this does not look like them saying no De Gaulle walking in the grass. Because it does. I haven't seen the goats. I usually see them, I think, in the fall. Comedy. Yep, I think all the plaques are the same. Come on. Oh, but different. Different flowers. I think that tulip, fleur de lis, the green star tulip is a different one. Oh, but the double tulip pop-up ice cream. Ballerina sweet apricot. Don't you just love the name? I think that really pretty dark red is perfect for the painting. All right, let's walk over here. But you know that a lot of the sculptures that are here in the garden, the originals, are of course in the Louvre. So they're down in the Corpus Bay. So you can see the ones of Julius Caesar and Hercules is on the other side. Those ones you could see now in the Corbusier. So those are brought in actual, not long after the Louvre opened. And so these are copies. And they've done a lot of work in the last couple of years cleaning out these little basins. Oh, I think I remember one time doing a walk here. And when I got too close to that side, I lost you guys. So I'll stay in the middle. But they've been doing these basins. And so you see the sculptures. Let's see, we'll try real quick and I'll run away if not. But you have these sculptures here. And so the original ones are inside the Corbusier. But they started doing work on one of these, started doing work a couple years ago on one of these. And then they found there was a nest in there and some eggs of this very rare bird that uses as its little migration pattern. And so they stopped and put it off for a year so that they wouldn't disturb the birds. But usually around here you could see where they kind of keep. Just think about off kilter here a little bit. You can usually see where they have all of the flowers that they're getting ready to plant. So do you guys, okay, everybody decide, do you want to go towards Place de la Concorde or do you want to go towards the set? They don't mention in here, but most of it because it's the statuary, it's all in the Corbusier. But if you look on the plaques here, they actually have the numbers. And so the numbers of the artwork, and then if you go onto the Louvre website and you hit collections, kind of have to go and see in there, and you can put the number in there. So if it's like RF, it's it belongs to the French Republic, so it could be RF 1992 dash four because that means it was donated in 1992, or they purchased it in 1992, whichever it is. And you can go in there and it'll tell you where it is. Sometimes if it's not on display, they're not going to tell. It'll just say not exposed. But if it will tell you, and then you can go on there, and then it'll tell you what room it's in, and you can click on that. I use it all of the time, probably 10 times a day. Okay, the sun. But look at how down there. See, obelisk, Arc de Triomphe, the Arc de la Défense. So we're on the Grand Access. So it's perfect. So here's that side. A good clear day. And then you can see the Arc de Triomphe de Carousel on that side. And if we could see through there, we would see the pyramid. But the pyramid's not exactly in the line, but the Bernini Louis XIV is. So we'll walk through this way, go out towards the Seine, so I could show you this lovely piece. So I was saying that the Tuileries, the Palais de Tuileries, and there are a few pieces of it scattered around Paris. There is a piece that looks just like this that's inside the Louvre in the Cour Marly, and then there are some pieces in some parks. The Trocadero has some pieces. Over on the side, if you look, let's see, I think it'd be on the south side of the Trocadero. There's also some pieces in the park that's right next to the Carnavalet. It also has some pieces of the Hotel de Ville. So does the Trocadero. But here is a little piece of it right here. And we might get attacked by the birds. Look at how pretty that one crow is with the white. When I was living up there, right up, and I knew Carl, and he'd come by as soon as I'd come sit on the deck. So I'd always come out there and give him like crackers or something. I'm like, "Oh, hi, Carl. How are you today?" But I watched this show years and years and years ago on PBS, and it was this show about crows and how incredibly smart they are, and they have amazing memories, and they recognize people and remember. So here is a piece of the Tuileries, and so the Serpent Queen, as she is called, she had this redesigned. So she had the Tuileries built because it was after her husband Henry II was killed in a jousting accident. And so she didn't want to live over there anymore. She lived at the Hotel de la Tournelle, which was basically where Place des Vosges is. And so she built the Tuileries over here, which you could see the end of Pavillon de Flore. So she had this built. And then what she did, she kind of just basically tried to rewrite their love story. So here on the columns, on the second band, you could see in the middle, it is a mirror and it's broken. And then on the side, you have the flames. So all of these things are supposed to be symbols of their love. You have on the second band from the bottom, next one here is, you have the laces, the love laces they're called, and they're being cut through. And so these are all supposed to be how she rewrote their love. But look how pretty that is with the sky, which was all a bunch of, I hate to say it, BS. She was not the nicest woman. He was in love with Diane de Poitiers. But so she lived here. She built this, and she wasn't done building it yet. And she really believed Nostradamus was her close friend. And uh, she was told by other seers that she would come to her, that she would die next to Saint Germain. So she said, "I'm out of here." Every year on the day she died, I share this story on Instagram for like the last 5 years because I love it. So she was told, "You're going to die by Saint Germain." So she's like, "Forget this. I'm out of here," because on the really close on the other side of the Louvre is Saint Germain l'Auxerrois. And so she thought, "I'm too close." So she moved to her palace. That is where the Bourse de Commerce is now. There's only one thing remaining of that there. I'll tell you in a second, which I've done on the walk many times over the years. So she moved over there and she got very sick, and the doctor came to her bedside. She asked his name, and his middle name was, guess what? Saint Germain. 2 days later, she died. But if you go over there now, there's a column, and until about a year and a half ago, it was still under construction and covered up since like 2016. Since I first came here, I was so bummed out. So it finally got finished, but that was her little column, and she'd go in there, and because she believed in astrology and everything else. Wait, oh, I thought I saw some firemen running. Nope, just red shorts. All right, well, hang on here. We'll wait. It is a rather lovely day. It's very windy, though. It's quite windy. But it is what has been really nice lately is the police, especially on the Pont des Arts, because that's the one I go by almost every day. The police have been there a lot lately because of the scammers with their clipboards. Their pieces of cardboard are there. And so the police have been by there a lot lately, stopping them, pulling them aside. You see them from far away, the girls trying to hide them or throw them away so that they don't get bugged. But, they specifically do it so they keep it so it's younger girls. And then when they ask, they make sure they have no ID on them. And then when police ask them their age, I'll say they're like 17 because they can't do anything to them. So here, ooh, look at how gross this is. That's because the water was so high. Look at how gross that is. Let me get that cleaned up. At least I guess it's all in one spot. Usually you could walk through there. There's steps. So, but this all looks like it's been redone. So they're getting ready because they've also just announced they're not going to have as many tickets. They're not going to have as many tickets open for the opening games. It used to be that you had to pay for the ticket for the bleachers down here on this end, and then the upper part here was just free game for anybody to come see. But now they're changing that, so I think it's only going to be 2,000, 3,000 free tickets, but you have to get the ticket. I think I'll just watch it on TV. But the send definitely has gone down. I mean, it came up and then it went down pretty quick. Let's look. How pretty. I wonder what they're going to do, if they're going to make all these boats move, the houseboats during the Olympic opening ceremony. So it's going to go down the Seine. It's going to stay on the north side of the Seine when it goes around the little islands. So it's not going to, they're going to come in from this direction, come into the city. And then I don't know where they're going to, I don't know if they're just, I don't think they're going to get off the boat. They're pretty tight-lipped about a lot of it. But recently, somebody that was working on it was at the Gare du Nord on a train, and somebody stole his bag. That that looks like there's a problem over there. I don't think that's supposed to be floating out there quite so far. But somebody stole a computer bag with like 4 jump drives on it that had all this information about the opening ceremonies. Not good. Not good at all. I love this bridge. I love how this bridge goes down because it goes as steps. I'm sure you guys have all been on this bridge, but it goes from a ramp, and then as it goes down, it kind of turns into steps. Very cool how they created this. And we have Thomas Jefferson down here. Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. I know that a lot of the day of the opening ceremonies, which I think is a Friday, but a lot of businesses aren't even going to open. So I know some restaurants in my neighborhood because we're not so far from the sun that they're not even going to be open for about 4 days around that because it's just going to be extremely difficult. You're going to have a QR code to get into your neighborhood at times because if it's close, especially the opening ceremonies, and then if you're going to have like a friend coming to visit, you have to register them with a special QR code just so they could come into your neighborhood. So they kind of haven't really released all of that information yet to how we're supposed to do that, but that's going to be rather interesting. So I don't know how that's going to work for restaurants if you wanted to go to a restaurant or to shopping, but I think it's not going to be every day, but they've also just announced that terraces, which could start going up a week from tomorrow, April 1st, they could start opening those. They will be able during the Olympics to stay open till midnight instead of 10 p.m. So you could be out on the street, which my street seems to always have people out till like 4 in the morning, open it up and drinking, having a great old time. So the Orsay is also going to, next year after the Olympics, they are going to also start a massive renovation, especially here to the entrance. So they're going to check change that. And so that's going to take 2 or 3 years. They're also going to change the way the collection is laid out. I was part of the kind of a committee that they ran the ideas by, and I thought all of them were a little nutty and let them know. But they're going to do some rolling closures. They haven't also said what that is yet, but there's going to be times when it's going to be closed for a week or two at a time and then open back up. So I'll keep an eye on that. Look at that. I mean, it's like an impressionist painting. But so what they're going to do in changing is they are going to change it so it's going to be like, instead of right now how it's the fifth floor is the impressionist, they're going to break it up and be like, these are paintings during the industrial age. These are paintings about the environment. These are paintings, and I said that that's all great, but I don't think the average visitor, tourist that comes is going to take that much time to figure that out and read about it. A lot, sadly, the majority, the people that go in there just go in there, see the big things, take some pictures, take some selfies, and then go to the next place. So you're really going to have to figure out how they're laid out. But then again, maybe they don't care because I'm the nerd that likes to figure those things out. So they're still going to do it. But here, this is so beautiful because it was a train station. 1900, it was created. It took less than 2 years because the entire thing is iron. And then what they did is they covered it with stone so that it would mix in with the rest of the neighborhood. So it came together very, very quickly. And so that is why you still have the clocks up there, which are so loved from the inside. And so this is the train station that serviced Paris Orléans. And so they used it here for about 20 years and then it stopped because the trains got too long. And so the trains could not come to a complete stop in here, the entire train. So they stopped using it. And during World War II, they would use it to get supplies out to the troops. And then at the end of the war, they used this as a train station to bring back the few lucky people that survived the horrible camps came through here, and that's what actually that plaque right over there on the wall says underneath the so that is a immersive little reality thing that they have in there. They did for Van Gogh too, and then the 1874. So the 150th anniversary, and I'm going to do a couple lives around that. I was hoping to do that today, but we had to change it to go out to Chateau, which is the island of the Impressionists, which I'm going to do some tours of with my friend Angela that lives out there. So we could take you out there and show you exactly where Renoir painted one of his most famous paintings out there, and a bunch of other really cool places that inspired the Impressionists, as well as some other areas in Paris at Bâtillon, which is where Manet had his exhibit or his atelier for a while. Oh, look. And then back to my left. But it is a great, beautiful train station. It would be nice to have one back in the center of Paris. But all of them are out a little further. But I love that a few years ago, maybe 2018, they had an exhibit there dedicated to Picasso. It was the blue and pink period. And what's really cool is that he came in here when it first opened up as a train station. He came here to come to the Universal Exhibition when he was here to do a painting for the Spain Pavilion. And he came in through that train station, and then he later had his exhibit in here. You normally do not find Picasso in here because he's post 1918. The Orsay is 1848 to 1918. The Louvre ends in 1848. And then 1918, you go to the Pompidou. So those are three museums, basically national museums that cover all of art. And here's a Renoir up here, the building for the Moulin de la Galette. Really is a beautiful building. I know that some people love this more than the Louvre. I'll try not to be offended by that, but it is a really great museum. But if you go there right now, definitely go see the exhibit that opens Tuesday. I'll share a lot about it when I go, but don't be fooled. The permanent collection of the Impressionists is pretty sparse because they sent off 120 paintings off to other museums around France. So they're sharing the love of the Impressionists all over France. And so the upper normal rooms that you always have are, they've really spaced them out. But here we are. Look at the sun went back down already. It's pretty quick. Went down really, really pretty quick. So there you go. It's just a little bit before 5. Give you another look. Lots of people are out, even though it's a little on the chillier side. And next Sunday is Easter. So I won't be doing one next week because I figured in the morning everybody would be busy. But we finally put our clocks forward. So the next weekend, I will do it that first Sunday of April, which I think is the 7th. And we will do that, and it'll be back to 4 p.m. Paris time, which means for you on the West Coast, it's 7 a.m., 10 a.m. for the East Coast. And then on the 14th, I'm going to do a special one from Notre Dame. So it's 4 years, 364 days from the fire, because the fire was April 15th, 2019. Can you believe it? And so what's really cool is that the spire is completely showing now. They haven't finished putting the lead on the lower side. So, but I'm sure by then it will be covered in lead. And so I can't wait to share that with you. I'll try to walk down there. I wonder, last year they played, they rang Emmanuel and Marie. They rang both of the bells on Easter, and it for like 7 minutes. And I shared that video. I'll try to find it and share it again next week for Easter. If they don't do it again, if they do it again, I will be there to record it and share it with you guys. It was absolutely amazing. The bells in the North Tower, if you remember when we did the walk around there last month, they're not back yet, but they should be back pretty soon. And so that'll be kind of cool to get all those back. There's stories every day in the French papers about what's going on at Notre Dame and what's being finished. And it's really cool. And for the podcast, we're doing an episode every month about something. And I'm going to record one for a couple of weeks from now that's going to be about the carpet and some of the other things. And then I started doing some research on the kings of Judah. So everybody knows the story about those coming down during the revolution, but I found out a bunch of stuff about that. And I also found out about another time that not a lot of people know about, is when they found other statues and where they found those. So that'll be an episode probably in June, because my May one is going to be about some paintings about Notre Dame. So tomorrow is the 200th episode of the podcast. So if you've listened to all of them, Angela, I know that you are definitely one that's listened to every one of them. Thank you so much. And if there's somebody you want me to share on the podcast, tomorrow is about the Chagall ceiling in the Palais Garnier. And again, it's a shorter one because you hear me straining my voice, trying not to cough, and trying to breathe at the same time. But thank you guys so much. I hope you have a lovely rest of your Sunday and a lovely Easter. And I will share some fun things all this week. I have to do my fun civil training tomorrow again for my visa. And then I get to go to my French oncologist, which is oh so exciting this week too. So get me through Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday. We'll just get that. Look at how pretty that old Porsche is. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching. And I will see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, if not before. So just check. I always post videos on my Instagram. Sometimes they go to Facebook, sometimes they don't. There's been some freaky things happening lately with sharing them. And so if you don't see anything over there for a while on your Instagram, look there, because that's where I put it, and if it doesn't share. But thank you guys so much for joining me today and all your support. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and it warms up for you guys wherever you are. Thanks, guys.